Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, taking a deeper dive into this USC Notre Dame matchup and specifically taking a deeper look at what USC needs to do on the defensive side of the ball to slow down Notre Dame. Going to be talking about what USC has done well on defense, which they've done some stuff well, then talking about where Notre Dame might be a little bit more susceptible. Excited to get into this one now. Before we do, again, just want to say thank you to you guys and especially the USC fans. You all know how much I've loved talking about this USC program, especially on defense. The amount of support y'all show and the engagement in the comment section, giving me your guys' takes. I have a blast doing it. Love talking ball with you guys. It's been awesome. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, can't thank the USC fans enough for rocking with the fellas. Dill, the first thing we have 4 talking points to get through here. The first one is load the box. We went back and watched that Notre Dame-Louisville game. How did Louisville have so much success stopping Notre Dame? I mean, extremely aggressive in stopping the run and loading the box, pretty much daring Notre Dame to throw it to their outside guys at the wide receiver position. Notre Dame didn't really want to. Dill, you watched the Notre Dame game. You've seen a lot of USC football. Loading the box, it has to be the biggest key to this game here.
And you can just tell, like, Gerard Parker and that offense, they are so committed to establishing the run.
Yes.
They're running it into everything. It doesn't matter what the other team's doing. They want to run it. It's their identity. And frankly, I do think they want to limit how much they need to throw the football because, again, you look at other parts of their offense, it maybe isn't there. So I kind of agree. It's if you can shut this run game down, you take Notre Dame off their rhythm, and that's when you can start forcing some mistakes out of Sam Hartman, who's somewhat prone to.
It's like a two-pronged attack here, or like two-pronged double-edged sword, whatever you want to call it. One, you mentioned Notre Dame, that's their identity to run the football. That's what they want to do. But 2, they don't have confidence in their pass catchers on the outside. And if I'm USC, I have a lot of confidence in these cornerbacks and how they match up against Notre Dame's wide receivers. I'm letting them have those one-on-one matchups. I'm putting some safeties in the box and trying to stop this rushing attack. You look at how USC loses this game. It's when Notre Dame goes 8 minutes, 12 plays, chunks it on the ground, and keeps CalebWilliams off the field and scores touchdowns. If this game gets into a shootout, you give some explosive plays up. That's okay. You want a 14 drive kind of game versus a 10 or 9 drive kind of game. That's what the number one thing here is USC stopping Notre Dame.
Because that also, like, you've watched USC, I don't know how you could be particularly confident in them stopping the run
without loading the box. You have to load the box. Now, number 2, and this is where I love USC in this matchup, the interior pass rush. You look at Notre Dame on the offensive side of the ball, on the offensive line, like they have the best tackle in the country in Joel. He's only given up 3 quarterback hurries all year. He's absolutely nails. Where they've really struggled protecting Sam Hartman is on the inside. Guys like Rocco Spindler, Zeke Corral, as a unit on the inside, those 3 have given up over 30 pressures on Sam Hartman. And you look at where USC has some real dudes up front, Bear Alexander, Kion Barnes-Jackson. You brought those guys in to win these kind of games. I think that USC needs to establish some interior pass rush because when you look at this Notre Dame offensive line, that's where they're gettable.
You know, I don't even mind firing linebackers at that middle because, again, they're right now you even see they're having to rotate. They're not sticking with the same group. It's becoming a bit chaotic, frankly, for that Notre Dame interior. So, again, do things to make them confused. You have the studs to probably just go one-on-one with them, but just looking at where they're at, I think there is probably some value to blitzing them and being in just playing a really aggressive up-the-middle defense because right now you just see a very confused and not confident unit in that.
And that's not to say like Solomon Bird and Jamil Muhammad, who probably the 2 best players on this USC defense right now, won't be able to get after it as well. They just have tougher matchups. Number 3 here, and this is where USC struggles, taking away the middle of the field in the passing game. You look at Sam Hartman and his throwing chart, 80% of his throws are going to between the numbers. They love working the middle of the field. That's clearly where Sam Hartman is most comfortable getting it to. They have an elite tight end in Mitchell Evans. Still, USC, I don't know how Alex Grinch is going to do it, but you have to make sure that you're clogging up that middle of the field because that is where Sam Hartman wants to go, and it's going back to that same concept. I don't think they have a lot of confidence with their outside receivers. They want to go to the big tight end over the middle of the field.
I don't know if you can go to like that Alabama style of defense where you just put your outside guys on islands and the rest of the defense figures out some way to stop the guys in the middle. And that's, again, you look at Alabama over the course of history, when you can beat them with your outside receivers, you can kind of be successful on that defense. If not, you can't. So they are going to need to try to find, I don't know, borrow from Bama, do whatever you got to do. But somehow I think they're not very susceptible on the edge because, again, you look, the wide receiver play for Notre Dame, kind of okay, not great, obviously. And frankly, Sam Hartman wanting to push the ball down the field to the sideline hasn't been his strong suit, especially with a guy who doesn't frankly have the strongest arm in the history of the world. So
I think that's why they go to the middle of the field. Like he doesn't, that's it. Like Sam, there's a reason, and this is as a Wake Forest guy, like I love Sam Hartman. There's a reason he's a 6-year quarterback at Notre Dame. He's a good college football quarterback. He doesn't have that NFL arm. And so, like, I would take away where he's most comfortable, work in the middle of the field, force him to use that arm strength, force him to go to the inexperienced wide receivers on the edge, because that's where I like USC's matchup. I think guys like Roland Wallace, Damani Jackson can hold their own. Kalen Bullock, I want him to have a massive game in center field. Like, taking away that middle of the field, I could see him having an interception here. That's going to be a massive storyline. And, Dill, the last talking point here, USC's got a blitz, and you mentioned it, and I agree. USC needs to play an aggressive brand of defense. This is going right back to loading the box. Do not let Notre Dame grind you down. If you're giving up those 8-minute drives and keeping Caleb Williams, that is the recipe to beating USC. Like, people know what the recipe is to beating this USC team. It's keeping Caleb Williams off the field, not letting him touch the football. If you give up an explosive play, that's okay. But what you can't give up is the 12-play, 8-minute drives where Notre Dame's able to grind you down and score a touchdown. Dill, I need to see USC and Alex Grinch be aggressive in this football game.
Yeah, I think it just, like, simply put, you can't let this Notre Dame offense take this game over. They're not.
Yeah,
I don't think they're a good enough unit, frankly. And again, if you just do the things like you kind of said and just play a little more aggressive than maybe we're used to seeing USC play, I think you put yourself in the position to not allow, again, exactly what you said, where it's a game of if USC makes one mistake on offense, they might be in real trouble. It's got to be trying to steal possessions and yeah, give up a big play.
Worst case scenario is like you're looking at going into half like 10-7, where USC's only had the ball 4 times because Notre Dame's had a couple drives where they've gone 8 minutes. That is worst case scenario. And then you look at Sam Hartman and his numbers under pressure. When Sam Hartman's kept clean, he's the best quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I shouldn't say best quarterback. He's not the best quarterback in the country. One of the best quarterbacks in the country, 14 touchdowns to 1 interception. When they bring pressure, he's significantly worse. He's thrown 3 interceptions when teams have brought blitzes. The offensive line, like you noted, is trying to find the right group. They're one, inexperienced, but 2, like, not great, and it's not an experienced group together. I think that's where you take advantage. And again, going back to my time with Sam Hartman at Wake Forest, watching him, like, he's not a quarterback that loves pressure in his face. Alex Grinch, this is the game where you need to bring it and be aggressive and play to win this football game. And one other thing that you haven't seen from USC, forcing turnovers. This was a team that forced over 2.5 turnovers per game last year. They haven't even forced over 1 turnover per game this year. This is a game where Sam Hartman just turned the ball over 5 times against Louisville. Make him turn it over a few times. Get Caleb Williams a few extra possessions. If you can do that, I think USC can win this football game. There are ways USC can attack this Notre Dame offense. I can't wait to see it. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys. Again, if you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys, and we'll talk to y'all later.